The only fee I believe is the acquisition fee. Uh, it's like $700 or something like that. I can give you more information. Did you want me to transfer you over to the finance department?
Hi, this is Jeff. How may I help you?
Hey, good morning, Jeff. How are you?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm doing well, thanks. Hey, quick question for you. I've got a lease coming due next month. I'm just trying to get some answers on what that process looks like to buy it out. I guess particularly just want to understand, like, are there any fees or anything like that, or what's that process look like?
Yeah, so you'll just, when you're ready to, have you already made your final payment?
No, that'll be next month.
Okay. So once you do that and you're ready to buy the lease out, you just come in and we'll actually get you to our pre-owned lot, and they will actually help you complete that process. We'll get what your buyout option is with Nissan, and then did you lease it from us?
I didn't lease it from y'all, but I did lease it, obviously from a Nissan dealership.
Okay. So they'll get everything together, and as far as the fees, it'll be the taxes and the processing fee, and then they'll figure out, are you going to finance it or just pay cash?
I'm kind of up in the air. I know interest rates are really high right now, so I'll make a decision at that time.
Okay. Yeah, they'll be able to go over all the numbers and give you all your options when you come in. But it should take, I'd say, probably about an hour and a half, because they'll have to do an inspection on the car. You put a state inspection sticker on it, basically, before they finish up all your paperwork. But a lot of it will be taken care of at the same time that you're speaking to them about your buyout options. So.
Okay. And the buyout options, just to make sure I understand. So you mentioned, like, obviously I got to pay taxes. That makes sense. The processing fee, I guess that's just like I don't know actually what the processing fee is.
If you had originated your lease with us, then there wouldn't be an additional processing fee, and the taxes would have already been taken care of. But who did you lease from? Do you remember?
I don't know. I've been moving and traveling, so I'll have to go double check.
Okay. But yeah, we can help you regardless. But like I said, if you had leased the vehicle from us, then you wouldn't have to pay the processing fee or the additional taxes. There would just be the DMV fee.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah. I called another dealership and they said there was like a certification charge. And I was like, I don't know. I just got very confused. So now I've been calling around to just try and understand what I'm actually getting into.
Yeah. I'm not sure what they call a certification charge. There's a $75 fee to process the grounding that Nissan charges. But otherwise, it's just your normal taxes, DMV, and processing.
Awesome. Okay. Well, this has been immensely helpful. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome. If you need anything else, just let me know.
Okay,
Thank you so
all the
much.
best. Okay, so Dad, remember, this is first of 3 calls I made to dealers to try and understand what the lease buyout fees are. What'd you make of that? Again, first of 3, so there's many more to come.
Well, it depends on what state. In some states, for instance, like Maryland, you pay all the sales tax up front, so you don't have to pay sales tax at the end if you buy out your lease. Other states, you're paying sales tax monthly, so you would have to pay sales tax at the end of the lease if you're buying it out. Yes, if some states you'd have to pay for a state inspection, some states you would not. Most dealerships are probably going to try and charge you a processing fee because, well, that's a profit center for the dealership, and they're not supposed to be making any money when they sell you the lease buyout, because you're supposed to be paying the residual value plus state tax and title and registration fees. So he was somewhat on target with what he was saying. He was pretty close to being accurate. Not 100%, but, on a sliding scale of a 0 to 100, I'd give him like a 90.
All right, so I will say this state that I call these dealers in, Dad, it is explicit in that state that you cannot charge a dock fee unless that was previously stated in your lease contract. So I'm just going to flag here. We've got our first of the 3 dealers saying there's a $75 grounding fee. Let's just acknowledge that. And then there's the processing fee. We didn't get the number for what the processing fee was from this dealership, but I will say, again, in this particular state, can't do that. So that's something for folks to watch out for. But let's go into call number 2 and then obviously call number 3.
Thank you for calling Nissan. How may I help you?
Hey, good morning. I just have a quick question. I've got a lease coming due next month, and I wanted to understand what the buyout looks like, if there are any fees, things like that.
Yeah, so it's just be your taxes. If you're buying it out, you'd pay your taxes for whatever state you register, and then the acquisition fee for your for the lease.
Do you mind speaking up? It's a little hard to hear you. Sorry, what was that?
You would pay your taxes for the state you're going to register, and then you pay your acquisition fee.
Got it. So I pay an acquisition fee. Is that like,
Yeah,
okay.
I believe
So I
it's
pay
like
my
300
taxes
bucks.
and then acquisition fee.
Yeah,
Okay. Nothing else. And then I just can like finance it if I were to go through y'all or something like that.
correct. Yeah, so if you come here, we would give you, if you want to finance, you can finance. We have different banks that we use. Then depending on your situation, we would try to get you the best scenario for you.
Got it. And then the acquisition fee, do you know how much that is? Or is that like standard across whatever dealership I go to? Or like how does that work?
Yeah, so that doesn't change. It's going to be the same everywhere. So will the other, like your taxes and tags. Everything's going to be the same no matter what dealership. And so I believe it's like 300 bucks.
Okay, cool. So $300 acquisition fee. Obviously, I got to pay taxes, DMV stuff. That makes
Yeah.
sense. And then you guys can help me out with the financing.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay, cool. That's all the info I needed. Thank you. That's really helpful. All right, so our first person that we talked to was 90% on that scale of giving me accurate information. Go for it.
Somewhere around 50%.
This second call is around 50 is what you're saying?
Oh my goodness gracious, an acquisition fee. You're not releasing it, you're buying it out. The acquisition fee was at the beginning of the lease, not at the end of the lease. So I have no idea what that salesperson is talking about when he says there's an acquisition fee. Yes, you would pay the state taxes. Yes, you would pay title and registrations in whatever state you're going to register the vehicle. But there's no acquisition fee. I'm sorry, there just isn't. And
Two dealers in two different stories so far, Pops.
And a salesperson should know that.
Yes, there is a fee when you're trying to buy it out.
Yeah, I'm just trying to understand my options right now, but I think I'll likely buy it out. Yeah.
Okay. All the only fee I believe is the acquisition fee. It's like $700 or something like that. I can give you more information. Did you want me to transfer you over to the finance department?
No, I mean, I guess that could be helpful. I don't know. I'm just trying to understand. I've called a couple dealerships and I've heard different things, like, different acquisition fee numbers and different, like, I don't know, all sorts of different, like, processing fees, a certification fee. I'm just trying to understand, like, what I'm actually getting into. And I've got about a month before the lease comes due, so I'm okay, but just trying to get informed. So I don't know if you think the finance department can help me out more. I'm open to that. I also, if it's like $700 and that's the only fee, then that's also fine. I just want to understand the situation.
Yeah. Let me transfer you over over to them.
Okay, thank you.
Acquisition fee. Acquisition fee.
Please hold while I try to connect you.
Finance, this is Emily.
Hey, good morning. How are you?
Good morning. How are you?
Doing well, thanks. Hey, I was just speaking to someone on your team. I've got a lease coming due next month. I'm just trying to understand what the situation looks like when I go to buy it out. Are there any fees or like what do I have to pay? So just looking for some general information, please.
Did you purchase or did you lease a car from us?
I did not. I leased it from a different dealership.
Okay. So if you didn't purchase the vehicle from us, then you have to pay your taxes on the car. So we'll pull your the amount for your payoff from Nissan. It's a $300 fee over top of that, and then you just add your taxes, tax, and processing fee on top of that.
Got it. Okay. And the processing fee, I get taxes, tags, processing fee. Is that like the dealership fee for like handling everything?
Well, the processing fee is a fee that every customer pays when they buy a car from us, and it basically is all of the stuff in my accounting office. So you do have to pay to get the car inspected, but my accounting office kind of handles like registering the car and then paying Nissan off and getting the title from Nissan and then processing all of that paperwork.
Got it. Got it. And then the $300 fee that you were talking about, that's the fee that we pay Nissan or something, or how does, I'm just trying to
we actually pay Nissan for that, for you for that.
Okay. And then what's the processing fee amount, just so I understand?
$949.
$949. Okay. And then taxes and then tags and DMV. Okay, cool. So
Yeah, and the taxes and tag fees depend on where you're going to register.
3 calls, 3 dealers, 3 totally different stories.
3 calls, 3 dealers, 3 totally different stories. Nobody really knows anything. I think the 4th call is the Nissan Financial Services, and to find out exactly how the process is supposed to work. A $949 processing fee, for the staff to, cut the check, the Nissan, and, to handle the title when it comes back. And let's just call that what it is. That's a dock fee. And depending on what state you're in, and my understanding is in this particular state, the dealers have been informed by the dealer association that you're not allowed to charge a dock fee or a processing fee.
Because that's what's at its core, Dad. Like that, this is what's happening in New York State, for example, very recently. Millions, with an M, millions of dollars going back to consumers and fines being paid in settlements from dealers because they were charging fees that were not set in the original lease contract. And that's the point. Is a lease is a contract, and it says what you can purchase a vehicle for at the end of that contract. You have to have additional line items in that contract to say, oh, there will be a $949 processing fee at the end. This is capital ILLEGAL. This is illegal.
Ooh, I like that with the capitals. Yeah, and there would have to be disclosed in the lease that there's a $300 acquisition fee for you to. There's a lease end fee that you'd pay if you're not getting another lease vehicle from them, but if you're buying the car outright, and you only pay that fee if you're turning it back in. Okay. If you're buying it outright, there wouldn't be that. It's time to call Nissan Financial Services and find out what the real process is.
Let us know in the comments down below if you want me to do that, and I happily will. Dad, what do you make of this coming on the heels of that New York news? Again, the state's attorney general, out of New York, bringing millions of dollars back into consumers' hands because of fake, bogus lease end fees. What do you make of this on the heels of that?
It is another attempt by many dealerships to figure out a way to be able to profit if somebody wants to buy out their lease. Typically it is cut and dry, pretty simple. You pay the residual value plus taxes, title, and registration fees. So this is just another way for dealers to get greedy, and it's unfortunate. Yeah. And it's a perfect example of training that is needed at a dealership level, especially for their sales and finance people.
I would also go as far as to say, Dad, it's a void of clear information. That's what this highlights for me. 3 different calls, 3 different stories. This is why we've built CarEdge into what it is today. It is the consumer's advocate, your advocate, to make sure that as you're navigating these situations, you actually have information you can trust. So a huge recommendation to check out our website, caredge.com, so we can help kind of defend you from these types of experiences. Because again, 3 dealers, 3 different stories. Let us know if you want me to call Nissan Financial, because I think we'll get a 4th story when we call them. It's a void of clear information. And obviously we're trying to bring light to that so that we can change it, so that we can make it way more clear, less opaque, more transparent. It should be simple, man.
Yeah, most things in life should be simple. It's just unfortunately they're not.